The president warned the world faces great peril if North Korea continues on its current path and called upon the delegation to put more pressure on Kim Jong-un and his regime. Will this lead to action or increased tensions from the Korean Peninsula? Let's bring in former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense on Asia-Pacific Affairs, Peter Brookes. And Peter, does it surprise you, as a business network, we're looking at the markets, that when the term total destruction, we will totally destroy North Korea, doesn't frighten the markets?
Well, this is really long-standing U.S. policy, Liz. I mean, look, the United States...
I've never heard anybody say totally destroy
It's
North
mutually
Korea.
assured destruction. I mean, look, in the way the president said it, look at the text. It says we will defend ourselves, and that would mean the destruction of North Korea. Now, that's a paraphrase, but people should look at it because I think people are taking things away from hearing it. He said if North Korea, if you attack the United States, it's going to end very badly for you, and that would include nuclear destruction. Nobody wants to go there. But if they fire a nuclear missile at the United States or its allies, it could mean the total destruction of North Korea.
We're looking at the empty seats where the North Korean delegation had been sitting. They got up and walked out. They didn't want to hear what President Trump was going to say, but maybe they should have. But what will the reaction be? Will it force Kim Jong-un, the dictator there, to turn around and say, all right, let's get to the table. This is getting totally insane, but he is totally insane. Or will it get his trigger finger itchy when it comes to his nuclear arsenal that he's building?
Look, the president was right when he's been very plain spoken prior to this. Fire and fury, a lot of people criticized them. I think it was the right thing to do. North Korea needs to understand, once again, that if they start a fight with the United States, it's not going to go well. And they need to be deterred. Deterrence is in the mind. It's a psychological state. And I think the president is saying, look, don't think that you can take on the United States. Hopefully this will lead to them coming to the negotiating table. I don't think it's going to cause them to start a fight. They lose that fight.
Peter, it was just last week that yet another nuclear missile sailed over the northern island of Hokkaido in Japan. Right. And when it landed in the ocean, it was within hitting distance of Guam, the U.S. territory. Are we, after today's speech by the president, closer to shooting down the next missile that comes that close to a U.S. territory?
Well, now, let's be clear. That missile went over Hokkaido, landed in the Pacific Ocean. It was a provocation, but it did not go in the direction of Guam, as the North Koreans had promised in the past. If they fire a missile in the direction of Guam or Hawaii or Alaska or anything else, we should shoot it down. So I think that North Korea is going to continue these provocations because they are committed to their ballistic missile and nuclear programs. We need to take the necessary actions, including missile defense and conventional and strategic deterrence, to make sure that they never take that shot.
The Iranians, I know that they, in a way, for once took a backseat to something else, but today they were front and center with both President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. The Iran nuclear deal, it still stands, and the U.S. has affirmed its stand every 30 days because we're supposed to. What eventually happens with this deal?
Well, the president needs to recertify in October to Congress. Every 90 days it is, the recertification.
90, pardon me.
Yes, that's right. No, it's all right. Now, every 90 days, the next one is up in October, and the president may not reaffirm it, may not certify it. I think he was putting down a marker today, telling the international community if we don't get a better situation with Iran on its ballistic missiles, on its terrorism, on the current nuclear deal, which essentially just slows Iran's progress towards a nuclear weapon, that he may walk away from it. He's telling the P5+1, which are the other permanent members of the UN Security Council, which were partners to this, and the EU and Germany, that if you don't do something about this, I may walk away from it. So I think he was laying down a marker today. He hasn't said he's going to do that, but I think he's laying out what might happen.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Peter Brookes, Heritage Foundation National Security Affairs Senior Fellow.